It looks like it's time to go after Lamar Jackson again. And this time the person leading the charge is this individual by the name of Jamison Hensley, who is a staff writer for ESPN. So basically what happened was Lamar Jackson, who of course y'all know is the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, he responded to a tweet in which he said a phrase that many people across the board have used in various situations where they're, instead of telling someone to shut the F up, they will say, eat my D. You know exactly what that is. And I think all of us have probably used that a time or two, or have heard it definitely for sure. But this Jamison Hensley took an opportunity of Lamar Jackson saying that in a tweet and turned it into something that it wasn't supposed to or meant to be by claiming that Lamar Jackson tweeted an anti-gay phrase. Never in all of my years of existence, or at least in the years that I've heard that phrase, ever equated that to being anti-gay. I'm sure there are even people in the academy who have said that phrase before, even with it out having meaning linked to or directed to a sexual innuendo. So he took this and turned it into a whole nother thing, trying to blow it out of proportion. But the joke is on him, because the people went at this man's head so hard about what he did, or him writing this hit piece that I'm going to read, that this guy literally had to lock his tweets up on that particular thread, meaning if for those of you who are not on Twitter, only certain people can respond to it, and it's usually people that he follows. But by that time, it was already too late because it was out there. And people do that when they don't get the response that they are looking for. So to avoid getting trolled by people, they do that in order to keep the trolling down to a minimum or cut it out altogether. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read his little hit piece from ESPN that was posted on November 28th, 2022. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson responded to a social media post Sunday that criticized his performance with a profanity-laced tweet that included an anti-gay phrase. About a half hour after the Ravens' 28-27 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, a Twitter user tagged Jackson in a tweet that read, "Someone asking for over $250 million guaranteed like Jackson. Games like this should not come down to kicker Justin Tucker." The fan added, "Let Lamar walk and spend that money on a well-rounded team." Jackson snapped back shortly afterward with a profane reply saying, among other things, that the fan never smelt the football field. Jackson's tweet was deleted after 3.5 hours. The Ravens and the NFL did not respond to email seeking comment on Jackson's tweet. Ravens coach John Harbaugh will speak to reporters at 2:30 p.m. Monday, which I'm sure has already happened, and will likely be asked about Jackson's social media exchange. See how they literally take things and blow it out of proportion when it's a black person doing it? That's the same thing they did with Kyrie Irving with that tweet with that link. So now they're coming after Lamar Jackson for a phrase that wasn't even anti-academy. But this person right here blew it out of proportion. And that's why he's getting dragged on social media right now, even to this time of me recording this video, because this is hours after I saw the initial video. I just couldn't record it at the time because I was busy, but they're still going in on him. Jackson was visibly frustrated after the game, which was the Ravens' third loss this season after leading multiple scores in the fourth quarter. That ties the most in a season in NFL history, according to research by ESPN Stats and Information. "I don't like losing," Jackson said. "Nobody likes losing." Jackson acknowledged it would have been a different game if Baltimore hadn't struggled finishing off drives early. The Ravens finished 2 of 5 in the red zone, setting for 3 short field goals. "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you," Jackson said when asked about the red zone difficulties. "You see it, I'm seeing it, but I'm out here trying to make it happen." The Ravens fell record-wise 7-4 into a tie with the Cincinnati Bengals atop the AFC North. So, like I said, this guy right here, this is the Jamison Hensley. He's the one that wrote that tweet talking about how he posted something that was deemed to be quote unquote anti-gay. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. Like I said, it's almost the equivalent of telling someone shut the F up. That's really what it equates out to. But he took it upon himself to actually make it into saying, oh, it's anti-gay. In other words, he's trying to throw the homophobic title or label onto Lamar Jackson. And of course, Lamar Jackson being a black man and the quarterback of the Ravens. Literally, ever since Lamar Jackson became the quarterback of the Ravens, they've literally tried their best to try to taint or darken this man's reputation and image with everything that they could think of. Because again, that quarterback position has always been historically played by or positioned by a PC athlete. It's not that many black quarterbacks out there, past or present. So to get that position is like an honor. It's like one of the key, if not one of the top key positions in football. So, because literally the game heavily falls on your shoulders when it comes to scoring. But they always have to find a way to make it into a big deal. In this situation right here, that this Jamison Hensley person, whoever he is making a big deal out of nothing. This is the second time in this month, in the month of November, that I had to go in on a PC reporter when they had to try to make black people look like they were the scum of the earth. This one, and remember that David Marcus one where he was trying to say we need to talk about black people and talk about anti-Semitism in the black community. They do this all the time. And of course, you're going to have some of their bootlickers out there going to say something about it or try to align themselves with whatever they're saying. But again, his little tweet fell flat to the point where he had to literally lock his tweets up or lock that thread up so he could not continue getting trolled in heavy numbers like he was. And man, when I tell you, when they went in on him, they went in. And to make matters worse, this is a tweet from him later on. This is not the tweet that I was referring to when they was going in on him. If I can find it, I'll incorporate it. But this is a tweet he posted hours later where he said John Harbaugh on Lamar Jackson. I heard about it last night and talked to him this morning. I just beg guys not to get into the Twitter world, especially after a loss. It's not going to be positive. I think that's reflective in his response. Basically, he's tweeting this to try to back up his own claim that this hit piece that he wrote in this entire article that I just read. See, he's trying to say, see, I have someone out there that's at least backing me up. And what better person to quote unquote back me up than the coach of the team in which the person I'm referring to that posted the so-called anti-gay phrase. But this was the original post right here. It says Lamar Jackson deletes vulgar tweet blasting critic. And this is the part what I'm talking about right here for those of you who are not on Twitter. See where it says who can reply? People at Jamison Hensley follows or mention can reply. Because people went in on him. This thing has 20 retweets, 608 quote tweets, and 212 likes. And I'm going to be quite honest. Most of those quoted tweets are those going in on him heavy for this, because people can see exactly what this Jamison Hensley was trying to do or attempted to do. And that was to smear or attempt to kick up a smear campaign against Lamar Jackson. This thing, I have a feeling, hopefully is not going to go anywhere. But it just says another thing, too, that these fans can get out of line, whether in person or online, and say all this crap about these players, and these players are not supposed to clap back on them. Like they're supposed to be the quote unquote bigger man. Like they're supposed to just take it on the chin. And notice, like I said, that a lot of these so-called fans be coming at black players the most. And a lot of them do it online. They'll never do it in person. And if they do it in person, they'll feel like they'll have a level of protection. Because they'll always throw in, we pay you and all types of stuff. No, you don't pay a damn thing. The organization pays them. You don't pay them millions of dollars. The contract is already signed before you even paid for a ticket. So how exactly are you paying these players is what I'd like to know. Your money really is going to the upkeep of the stadium in which they're playing in, quiet as it is kept. Especially since a lot of these players have outside investments, or should, from the NFL that they can make more money in when it's the off season, or when they retire, or even while they're still playing, that could eclipse whatever their contract is. So I'm still trying to figure out where is it that they're paying them, because I'm sure when they get their check, it doesn't have the fan's name on there saying who the check came from. But again, that's that elitist tone that a lot of these fans think that they have, especially when it comes to black athletes, especially when it comes to the NFL and the NBA in particular. At the end of the day, all Jamison Hensley was trying to do was gaslight the academy by putting that quote unquote saying what that Lamar Jackson tweeted was an anti-gay phrase in there in order to rile them up to go after him. Because remember, like I said, they have painted the picture that black people, in specific black men, were the most homophobic. Think about what Charles Barkley recently said when he said that black people are the worst when it comes to gay people, when he was on CNN like a week and a half ago. This right here was no different. Like, they're trying to add an egg on into that, and it's falling on deaf ears. But that's literally what he was trying to do in that tweet, and it failed, which is why he had to go look for the coach, or a quote from the coach of the team, to try to give himself a backup, because his initial tweet was an epic fail. And even him going to seek out the coach was probably an epic fail as well. So all in all, Jamison Hensley is going to fall flat on his face.